Hello and welcome to Wine and Wedding Wednesday. We're so happy that you can join us today. This is the Bride Candy with very special guest Ana Cruz from Ana Cruz Events. Say hi, Ana.
Hi. Great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here. You know, one of the things that we love about you and working with you is the fact that you do some really fantastic out of the box work, and we're so excited to talk about it with you. But you know, before we get started and too far down the road, there's the most important question of Wine Wedding Wednesday, which is, what are you drinking tonight?
Well, I don't drink, but I do have a fancy glass with my mocktail in it, which is made with pineapple juice, some lime juice, and some secret ingredients. So, if anyone wants to send me a direct message, I will send you back the recipe, maybe.
That sounds amazing, actually. Well, we were just talking right before this live, and apparently, Anna makes some really incredible mocktails that includes things with muddled raspberries and all kinds of other ingredients. It's impressive to us. We never go that far at all.
I'm lazy.
We're drinking, I think it's a Pinot Noir tonight. Is that right? Bread and butter. Show the audience. Yeah.
Show the audience.
Yeah, there we go. Bread and butter Pinot Noir.
Straight from Publix. Only the finest wine for the gentleman.
So, Anna, can you tell us a little bit about your company, what it is that you do, and a little bit about your philosophy?
Yeah, well, I've been in business for 18 years. I've been planning events for 20 years. And I guess my main philosophy is that I feel that my main job is to make my clients own their day. And if they own their day, their wedding won't be like anyone else's. So I think everything that they do, and I know we're going to be talking about like out of the box things. Well, out of the box isn't great unless it means something to you. So I make sure that it's not just something that they've seen somewhere that they're doing, but something that is a part of their story. So as a planner, I should be invisible in that process. Everyone that comes to the wedding should think my couples did all the work, and I'm happy to hang out behind the scenes.
I love that. I know one of the weddings that Chris did with you that really stands out was a unicorn wedding.
Yeah.
Is that
Yes.
right?
I remember when you told me, you were like, how do you feel about a unicorn wedding? And I started laughing and I was like, oh my God, yes, I would love to do it. And she's like, yeah, it's so cool.
That couple really had the right idea. They were owning it at another level, and they really wanted to have a fun wedding, and they wanted to make it whimsical. And what's more whimsical than a unicorn? So we did have inflatable unicorns, and the bride did some origami unicorns that you guys incorporated into the floral arrangements. They also had a sumo wrestling ring. That was a first even for me. That was awesome. Awesome.
I mean, that is the kind of thing that you will remember at a wedding, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean, we remember. Well, I always remember. That was
for sure.
Fun. Yeah, that was fun.
Are there any other weddings that you've done that are kind of in the same vein that stand out to you?
Yeah, many moons ago, I had a wedding where the bride and groom couldn't quite agree on the theme, and she wanted kind of an Asian vibe, and he wanted a disco theme. So, those two things don't go together, but I kind of figured out a way to make it work. We had disco ball table numbers. We had cherry blossoms as the centerpieces. But the thing that made this one stand out is, when I was asking the groom why he wanted a disco theme, I found out he was obsessed with John Travolta. So I actually helped him find the exact suit that John Travolta wore. And for the first dance, he came out in it, and he danced More Than a Woman from the Bee Gees, and they had the choreography exactly like the movie. So he was so pumped, and it was awesome. And that was actually featured on the Style Network. So they will forever be known as the Asian disco couple. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what it says about me, but most of my clients want to do something out of the box. And I pride myself in that. No matter what they ask for, I don't blink. It's not about like, that's crazy, let's not do it. I'm like, we're going to figure that out. You want to fly over? I got you. I don't know, whatever they want, I can do. And that's what makes our job fun. So I enjoy it.
That is so amazing. Oh my gosh. And what a stir that must have been, right? When he came out like that, no one's expecting it. Oh man.
Oh, it was the groom could, I mean, I'm not saying he didn't love the bride. He did. They're actually still married and they have a child, and I still keep in touch with him all these years later. But he was more excited for that than anything else. And I actually hired someone to do dance lessons with them leading up to wedding day. So it was like very true to the movie.
That's awesome.
So cool.
Yeah.
So we're here today to talk about some of the areas in a wedding where you can maybe hone in and focus and really create those wow moments, right? To really make things shine. So I know that, you know, we had gone back and forth a little bit, and we had a list of like every single aspect of the wedding, but I know there's only a few that you kind of wanted to focus on and talk a little bit about.
I mean, we can start, you know, from the beginning. A lot of times, a lot of my clients are destination clients, so there are events leading up to their wedding. So when they're having a welcome event, I always like for them to come out of the gate with something out of the box right off the bat, because it sets the tone, you know, for the rest of those few days. So definitely doing something there. I recently did a wedding where the bride was very big on champagne, and she wanted to have all the best champagne, and she wanted to greet her guests as they entered. So I started thinking, what could we do that's kind of out of the box? So I was able to hire an aerialist who sat in a ring. It was like a lollipop, and she sat in it, and as people came in, she'd hang upside down and pour them champagne. So it was super cool, and people were posing with her, and it was definitely something that you know, people are probably still talking about. So it's just finding things that your client wants to do and helping them bring it to the next level without, you know, it's got to look nice. It can't be too crazy, but
and it has to make sense, right? It has to somehow make sense, and then also have a wow factor. Like, that's a wow factor.
Totally.
That's something you'll never forget. And just an entrance, a good entrance. I mean, it's like that with the decor too. You know, you walk into a space, there's that beautiful grand entrance. It's the same thing as like something like that. Just, you know, coming in and having someone give you a glass of wine from like the ceiling is pretty cool.
And for like entrance, I there's a company called Variety Entertainment. I'll give them a shout out because they do a really good job. They have a living red carpet. So they have this beautiful model in a gorgeous red gown, and the gown extends and is the carpet. So the guests walk in on her dress. They don't quite notice it's connected to a person until they come in. But when you're talking about entrance, I mean, that's wow. So yeah, there's so many cool things out there. Whenever I find a vendor that really is doing cool stuff, I'm all about it.
That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah. So and you know, with entertainment in general, really the sky's the limit. Here in Miami, we have access to so many amazing and creative people. Like lately, with people doing these caravans and these type of mobile parties. I have a client, the company is A1 Entertainment, and they actually have a huge cake. And I coordinate different experiences for people, and I can have anything jump out of that cake. What's going to come out of the cake? Is it a showgirl? Is it a saxophone player? Is it your friend who hasn't seen you in 3 months because they've been in quarantine and they're like, hey, I'm here. So, you know, it's things like that. You know, entertainment is a great way to engage your guests. Like a lot of times when people are, you know, having dinner, they have like an hour and a half to kill. I always encourage my clients, what are you going to do special? I had a client who was really into Dancing with the Stars. So we had some tango dancers perform during dinner, and it was just so beautiful. And these aren't like, you know, crazy things. They're simple things, but when you use them the right way, they're a wow.
I agree. I mean, I've some of the best weddings that I've been to or been a part of has been ones with like entertainment, like where, you know, out of nowhere you come in and there's like a violinist playing, but he's playing this despacito and it's light up,
Right.
and
Right.
or like those big confetti things that come out, like, and it just the whole floor is filled with white confetti,
Yeah.
and just dancers coming out of nowhere. It's pretty exciting. It's really cool.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, your guests are going to be investing, 4 to 6 hours, in some cases more. And I think it's important, when you want to really create that wow feeling and an out of the box feeling, is that your event evolve as people are there, because they're stuck in a place. Like, I had a client once who wanted to do kind of like a fire and ice theme. This was corporate; it wasn't a wedding, but I thought, how cool would it be if they walk into ice and end in fire? So we had like these beautiful acrylic centerpieces that were lit in blue. And at a certain point, music played, and I think they were playing "It's Getting Hot in Here." And all the icicles turned orange, so now they look like flames. So,
Cool.
it's really cool. And now with video mapping and things like that, which is a huge wow, people can change the environment. They can start off underwater, and then they can, be in a hot air balloon, and they can be surrounded by roses. And, there's so many things we can do. I feel real fortunate to have been a planner, for so long, because I've seen this evolution. And every time something new comes out, I'm like a kid in a candy store. I'm so excited. I'm sure you are too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like trends, like I love like there's just new trends that are coming out too. I guess like one of the things that kind of makes your wedding difference that you could use too is florals, right? So like just like
Correct.
you mentioned, like the centerpieces changing color. I know for the unicorn one, all the flowers were rainbow. And
Right.
that's what I really loved about it. And she actually didn't like roses. I'll never forget that. She's like, I don't want roses.
Yes.
It's not my thing. So we just had an array of all these different color roses. I mean, roses, I'm sorry, flowers that were not roses. And it just looked so magical and so beautiful. We even put fairy lights in the arch so you could see the
It
flowers.
was
So
beautiful.
at night it was just like unicorn. And speaking of the unicorn, you think I wasn't really sure what the bride and groom had in mind. I just knew that my job was the flowers, and I was like, all right, we did a sample, but like I didn't know what to expect. Like I didn't know if the bride was gonna come in this like poofy dress with like a crown.
Right.
And when I saw her, she came out in this beautiful dress. It wasn't overdone. It looked amazing on her, and the pattern here looked like the pattern of the horn. And it's weird to
Yeah.
say until you see the dress. You're like, oh, I get it. And she had her hair in like a ponytail with a little bit of a bump. So you're like, okay, I
Yeah.
totally get the theme. It was done very nice. And then like I feel like flowers in general could just really transform your event, and you can really incorporate it. Any good designer could take like your vision and just take it and make it tasteful and beautiful. And like you said earlier, really listening to the clients and just giving them, what they really want and deserve in their wedding.
And you do a great job at that. And I'm not just saying because I'm on here with you, but you really listen to the client, and you really want to give them what they want. And I think a true testament is when I described what this client wanted. It was not the norm, not the typical centerpiece, and you didn't even miss a beat. You're like, I got this. And as a planner, I really appreciated that, because sometimes the big part of my job is helping people get it. So when I find someone who gets it, I don't let them go. So thank you.
Thank you. I'm so excited. I love how like you just when you asked me to do it and I was down for it, like after that it was just fun. Like everything
Right.
was, even with the inflatable unicorn. I remember you're like, I know it sounds crazy. And I'm like, no, actually I can see it looking really cool. And it did. It looked amazing with the arch and everything. So
Yeah.
I mean, I love
So just so people know what we did that day, we had a beautiful multicolored flower arch. It had fairy lights. It was in the setting of a garden, which was beautiful. But the background of the arch had two inflatable unicorns, horn to horn, like kissing, and it was adorable. What can I tell you? It was very cute. I mean, it's not for everybody, but again, back to my point, the real wow and the real over the top comes from your story. Nobody who went to that wedding even blinked at the two unicorns because they knew the couple. And that's totally something they would do. So, you know, it's always nice when an over-the-top wow element can match the story. Like I had a couple on Fisher Island the year before last, and he had proposed to her after many years of being together with a flyover. So it was this beautiful banner on an airplane that had their names and a big heart. So I asked him what they do with the banner. He's like, oh, we have the banner rolled up. I said, give me the heart of that banner. I had it mounted, and that's what everyone signed that day. And today they have that in their home. So, I mean, I always like to make that connection because for me, and I guess a lot of people feel this way, you spend all this money or you spend all this time and you're doing this wedding and it's over in the blink of an eye. Like every couple says, is that it? You know, is it 5 hours went by, 6 hours went by, whatever it is. But if there's a way for them to keep a piece of something from that wedding, when I find that, when I have that aha moment, that makes me really, really happy. So yeah, they still have this giant heart in their living room. They framed it beautifully and lit it like artwork. It's gorgeous. I
love that. So how's some other ways? I know, so entrance, we spoke about entertainment. I know we did speak a little bit of attire with the unicorn. Is there any other examples that you can think of with attire?
I'm not a super big fan of attire because I think a lot of guests are like, oh, I have to wear this. You know, I'm all about letting people do their thing. Sometimes it's done right and it fits and it's good. But, you know, a lot of times there's transportation involved in a wedding. And now, you know, weddings are a production where if you have your ceremony in a different place, you might have transportation for your guests. And I found that a lot of times people would forget that the transportation is a great opportunity. You have a captive audience. So what are we going to do? Like I've had a magician on a bus, you know, doing, you know, quick tricks and things like that. We've had a special soundtrack from when the bride and groom met because, you know, one thing I'm very big on is everyone has a soundtrack, and whether that's your wedding song is in it or not, I don't care if it's Back That Ass Up, I don't care what it is. But everyone has a soundtrack that when you hear that song, it reminds you of a time in your relationship. So
I'm sorry to interrupt, but what's that song? The Ashanti.
Oh my gosh, what's the title of it?
But I'm hurting when I'm with you. But when my heart can take no more, I just keep running back to you. So when we met on our first date, that song came up. And like it's the most random song about that we were like singing.
We were in a karaoke bar. A video of us.
Boom! You have a soundtrack, and I've had some couples get into it so much that they've actually created the soundtrack to share with guests. And I've had them use it on the transportation, like going from the church to the venue or from the hotel to the welcome reception or however it is. But, you know, transportation is a great way. You have a captive audience. I mean, I've had karaoke. I've had all these different things happening on these. There's a lot of beautiful luxury buses out there with plenty of audio visual gadgets and things that you can use. So that's another great way to go over the top. But the key thing with over the top that I always challenge people is don't ask me to do something because you saw it somewhere, you know, because it's not yours. That's where I have the over the top meets owning it, where what does that over the top element mean to you? If it doesn't mean anything to you, then you're just copying somebody else's wedding. So, you know, at the end of the day, I'll do whatever my client asks, but I always try to guide them to find that one thing that no one's ever seen before. And usually if they can find something that fits their story, no one's ever seen it before.
I agree. I mean, you know, Pinterest is a great, like, it's a good helper to know your style and everything. But I notice what happens, like, I'm sorry to say, but if I see another bride do a first look with one of the dinosaur heads, like, I'm going to just go crazy. Like, it's cute, but again,
I haven't had anybody do that.
Oh yeah, I see it all over the blogs. Like there's
a dinosaur head.
Yeah, well, they
I love dinosaurs. I love me some dinosaurs.
Yeah. Well, you know, it started with a couple that she pranked her fiance well, that day became her husband, but first look, wearing a dinosaur, those inflatable dinosaur things. And then it became a trend, and then a lot of other people did it. But when it was first done, it was hilarious. Or when another bride, she also pranked her fiance at the wedding day with the best man dressed in a wedding dress instead of her. And it's hilarious. Now it's become trendy, but it was really, I guess, like when it first happened, it was just because they were very close to him that they used to always do pranks on each other. And she's like, you know what? I'm going to use the first look to prank him. And it was great.
But that's why it worked for them, because it was part of their story. Back to my point. So if someone else now goes and does a dinosaur, it's just kind of weird.
Yeah.
But I have to say, wait, I got to bring someone on. Wait a second. Speaking of dinosaurs, this is the famous sequin dinosaur that is on SpaceX right now. That's how much of a dinosaur lover I am.
Oh, wow.
I have him. Here's Tremor. I had to go get him. I almost had to find someone.
He's so sparkly.
Anyway, he's here.
I want one.
So this is how they were able to tell they were at zero gravity, because the dinosaur floated up in space. Now, I have a replica of the same dinosaur. So here it is. Anyway,
that's so cool.
I'm sorry. I love that. I got excited when I heard dinosaur.
Well, a lot of other people are getting excited too. I see some comments coming in. Isabel on Facebook says Ana has done some really amazing events of all kinds.
That's one of my clients and my very dear friend Isabel. She's the best. She's so creative and she gets it. So she pushes me to be even more creative. So for me, she's not only a friend, she is a dream client.
That's awesome.
And I have some people on Instagram like Stephanie B1PP saying like, can you do my next wedding?
I think I know who that is. She's having a destination wedding in El Salvador. Yes, I'm available. Okay.
So there's lots of love coming in. I see one other thing on our list that that we had talked about previously, which was, even after the wedding, especially for destination weddings, there's often a post-wedding brunch. And that is also an area where you can go.
That's one of my, that's one of the areas where I really have to push my clients, because they're so over all the events and doing everything. Not because they didn't have a good experience, but with the brunch is almost like an afterthought. They're like, oh my gosh, if they show up, great. If they go, great. We were up all night. But, you should still do something for that send-off. So I'm very big. A lot of people do like welcome bags. I'm into going away bags, like something to take with you, like a little memento, something there. So a lot of times that post-wedding brunch is kind of an afterthought. So I always push my clients to keep the special stuff going. Don't stop now. We've come this far. Let's end it with a bang. Let's shoot someone out of a cannon. Not really. Someone asked me for that, because I could probably figure out how to do it.
I love that idea.
That's my dream client.
Well, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about? Any other aspects of like a wedding before we go into Q&A?
Oh, I can go all day. So no, go to Q&A, because I will keep you here all day. I'm excited.
All right. Well, so if you have any questions for Ana or for the bride, can you let us know? I already see some coming in. Aspen Girl 143 on Instagram asks, any out of the box ideas for vow renewals?
Oh, yes. So, with vow renewals, I like to get that client's story and somehow incorporate it. I recently did a wedding for a couple who her first boyfriend, which is how they met, it was kind of scandalous. Yeah, they were married, they were renewing their vows, and that guy actually officiated the wedding. Because if it wasn't, they wouldn't be together. So definitely for vow renewals, it's just your story and how are you going to make it work again. And I've had a lot of clients. I recently had a client on the Groove Cruise, which is an awesome EDM cruise, and I am the wedding planner of the Groove Cruise. Awesome. And you want to talk out of the box. That's so like not in the box. The box isn't even there. There's no box. It's out there. And there was a couple who had been married 8 years prior and divorced. And 8 years later, they were getting married again. So they had a few elements from their first wedding that they had saved for 8 years. And I actually officiated their wedding and they got married again. So again, it's all about your story. And with vow renewals, there's more history. So there's more ways to incorporate a story. So I love it.
You know what's a fun idea? We actually went to an event once, and it was a gala, and they had these, beautiful women dressed in wedding dresses, and people were painting. Just like you could come up and just paint your name or paint a flower or a heart right on the wedding dress. Like, you know how they do the trash to dress? Like imagine walking in, and either it could be you, like the actual, bride that's getting remarried, or it could just be like a nice mannequin with some beautiful flowers on it, and everyone just comes and trashes it. I think that's a really good idea too.
I'm all about it. I like that.
I see some other questions coming in on Instagram. A Contreras143 says, "What is your favorite wedding you've ever planned?"
Oh my goodness!
I know.
Put me on the spot. I have people on here. It's like I'm lucky that I work with people that I like, and that's really a blessing. And I get into everybody's story with them because I'm trying to pull out all these ideas from them. So we get close. So that's like asking me which is my favorite child. I don't know, but I love doing weddings on Fisher Island because I think it's such a special and unique place.
Gorgeous.
So weddings that happen there are wonderful. I love weddings at Villa Woodbine in Coconut Grove. I actually got married there, so that's a special place for me.
Awesome.
And it's hard. It's hard to pick a couple. I love all my couples for different reasons. So I don't know that I have a favorite, or maybe I
feel you. There's little parts that you remember from each one, but I can never pick a favorite because I feel like there was always like favorite things in each one of them that I just loved. And actually I'm pretty lucky. We're both pretty lucky. Like we still talk to almost all our clients.
Pretty
honestly.
much.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's never a one-shot proposition. Like there's a couple that just celebrated their 12-year wedding anniversary, and they gave me this beautiful Tiffany keychain, and I still have it on my keys till this day. So when they posted that it was their anniversary, I sent them my keys. I'm like, I'm still remembering you. And then that particular bride that day, there was a mishap, and she had some special shoes because she was getting married on the sand. And she had these really beautiful shoes, and they went missing. And I had these beautiful sandals that I wear when I'm on the beach with a client that had these beautiful Swarovski crystal hearts. The shoes were a gift from my husband. And I asked her, what size are you? And she was my size. So she actually got married in my shoes. I gave her my shoes. So, I just think it's special when you have clients that you want to do that for. And I'm very lucky that I really love all my clients. I'm not saying there weren't a few bad apples over 20 years, but really not, I can't even remember anything like that, but yeah.
That's so sweet. B Tweety is asking, what is your favorite color scheme for a wedding?
Ooh.
It depends on the couple. Like, I think that I go to the extremes. Like, I think you either own something wild, like a pattern or a color, and you like run with it, or you go all white and very clean and maybe let the flowers be the pop. So I saw something come in, Anna planned both my weddings. Yes, I did. Hi, Christina. I did. When you fall off the horse, you get back on again and you hire me again. That's what I like.
Same.
Lana Hernandez is asking, what is the average cost of a wedding in Miami?
Woo,
that's a good question.
That runs the gamut. I mean, it really depends. I'm not one of those planners that won't touch something if it's not like a super luxury wedding, because I can make anything look luxury. That's a matter of taste. It's not a matter of money. So, I would say on average, an average size wedding about 70,000 in that range. Obviously I've had weddings that are over $1 million. I've had weddings that are $20,000. It's hard to say. It really depends on what you want and how flexible you're willing to be and how out of the box you'll let me be. So
and the size of the wedding as well.
Yeah, it's a big.
The size, of course, the guest count.
Yeah. And I always tell my clients, if you're getting to the point where you're not having things that you want because you need to feed people, you need to rethink your guest list. Because if you wouldn't take that person out for dinner and spend $200 on their meal, then maybe they shouldn't be on your guest list. I mean, I know it's crass to say, but it's true. So a lot of times people out of obligation have all these people in their wedding, and it really takes away from it being special.
Yeah,
so
and it also takes away from their time. It also takes away from their time. That's another reason. I mean, that violinist or that entertainment you could have had, and also the time for sure. Like, because you have to say hi and take pictures, and it becomes, a lot. Versus you could spend that into really wowing the people that are there.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Aspen Girl 143 says, where is the best place to find a unique wedding dress?
Oh my gosh, it really depends on what you're looking for. I mean, locally, I love Chic Parisian.
That's what I was.
I love them. I bought 2 of my own wedding dresses there, and they're awesome. They're great, and the service is so wonderful, and it's a family-owned business, and you feel that when you go in there. So I think they're great.
I even want to go in there and try on some dresses. I'm not gonna lie.
That what?
I said I even want to go in there and try some dresses.
Well, I saw a quarantine post of someone doing some runway stuff, and I believe there was a dress involved. Hello.
My friend Monko, she was here earlier. She told me, she goes, please do a live one day and just randomly have it on.
You should work it.
I have one last question. This one came in through Facebook. Isabel again says, ask her about our picnics at City National Bank.
Ooh. Yes. So City National Bank is my client, and they're a wonderful corporate client. I love them because when you talk about thinking out of the box, they're willing to go there. So like we have very exciting concept meetings, and I throw all these cool things at them, and they're always really open to do amazing things to appreciate their employees. So their employees are very lucky people. And I have to tell you, we did a picnic for them that was spectacular, and the weather was definitely an issue. So since their events are usually in the summer, I devised a way to do an indoor picnic for them. So we had an air-conditioned picnic. I had bumper cars. I had superheroes. And I mean, we had a transformation station. You walk in on one end, you're a regular person. You walk out, you're a superhero, and we're going to take your picture. So, I mean, people got to live out their dreams of being a superhero. And, for them, all their employees are their superheroes. So it was a great theme. So they did an indoor event, which was great. We did, that one picnic I did for them that we had rain was right after the hurricane. So the park was demolished. So we brought in giant bales of hay and did a harvest theme. And I never wanted to see hay again. I never wanted to see a pumpkin again, but it was phenomenal. So I have to say, I have a few corporate clients that really, people think that corporate is not, or people are not creative. Some of my most challenging and out of the box clients are my corporate clients, because I tell them that they really need to, get out of that box and really do interesting things, because who wants to hear someone talk for 3 hours? Even when it's a town hall, I make it interesting. I just did a town hall right before all this mess happened, I think in February. And at the end, we had Décor drummers come in, the Japanese drummers, and they were amazing. One time when they were making a particular announcement, my client was making an announcement about, I don't know, numbers things, boring stuff, I don't know. And I had a whole marching band from the local high school come in from either side, and it was just loud and beautiful and incredible. So
That's
yeah,
cool.
every event can be creative, and that's what we're here for. So
I
good.
love that.
That's awesome.
Any last parting thoughts before we go?
No, but thank you for having me. This was awesome, and maybe we could do it again with some other topics. If anyone wants to follow me on Instagram, I'm there. You guys are putting up all this stuff that people can see. If you want my mocktail recipes, great. If you have a mocktail recipe, send it to me because my kids say my mocktails suck. Thank you.
Well, I just want to thank you. I mean, like, I knew you were perfect, not only just on camera, but the subject. I love all your events. Like, I follow you on Instagram and Facebook, and we do events together. And I just love like how fun and some things so out of the box it was. And so we were talking about doing lives, and I was like, out of the box, like your name came up first. And
Yay,
this whole conversation, just proves that you were just the perfect person, that you really just think of like just beautiful, amazing, like different things. And as a vendor, that's just like incredible because there's not many vendors out there like you. I mean, we're all very different. Some of us do very traditional, and some do out of the box. And I think that's something that's really amazing.
And I think the main thing about out of the box is when your clients are engaged with you and excited about the idea, and it just makes the whole process fun. Like planning your wedding or your event shouldn't be like, oh, I can't wait for it to be over. It should be like, oh my gosh, when are we having another party? That's what I always strive for with my clients. They're never a one-shot proposition for me.
That's awesome.
Thank you so much for joining us today. And thanks to you guys at home. Happy Wine Wedding Wednesday. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.